This is the aftermath of a 4-hour rescue operation by the Singapore Civil Defence Force to pull out a man trapped in an excavator, buried under a concrete slab and debris. A man believed to be in his 60s was found dead after the excavator he was operating toppled to the left on Thursday morning. The SCDF was called down to the scene, which used to be Novena Ville, at 8:42 a.m.
When our rescuers arrived at site, we actually did an assessment of the situation and found that because the excavator had actually went over a hollow void at a building site that they were tearing down, it had caved in together with the debris, and the driver's cabin of the excavator had been pressed against a reinforced concrete beam. So that made the situation very dangerous and difficult for an immediate rescue effort. What we had to do was to use another excavator to anchor the excavator that had caved in, so that we render it safe and immobile before our rescuers could go in. Now, because of the excavators that were on site this morning were all 20-ton excavators, the same class as the excavator that caved in, we had to bring in another vehicle of a heavier capacity. So that vehicle came is about 160 tons, and a lot of time was spent to rig up the thing to make sure it's safe before we could use it to using a system of chains and shackles to hook onto the caved-in excavator and render it safe. So after that, we had used another excavator with a hydraulic cutter attached to slowly cut away the concrete beams and the concrete flooring that were pressing against the driver's cabin. And once that was done successfully, we were able to go in, do some further fine cutting to gain access into the cabin and remove the casualty. So once we had done that, paramedics had assessed the casualty and declared him dead at 14:03 hours.
The family of the deceased started arriving at the site at about 1 p.m, with his cousin 57-year-old Loh Chin Seng being the first to arrive. He identified the man involved as Mr. Loh Chin Nam. He said that the deceased was the sole breadwinner of the family.
Yeah, I do inform my uncle his parent already. Now they are waiting at home. But this morning his father already watched the television. They saw some construction, this excavator collapse, but he still don't know his son. But now he know already.
How were their reactions like when you spoke to them?
Of course it's sad lor.
Sorry?
Of course it's very sad lah.
But were you shocked or not?
Yeah, of course got shocked. 他驾这种excavator 专门在敲拆屋子的，40多年都有了咯。40多年。
An elderly woman accompanied by a younger woman were next to arrive less than an hour later. Shortly after, 2 young men identifying themselves as sons of the deceased arrived separately. The body was removed from the site at approximately 3:20 p.m, with the family members leaving soon after. The site, opposite Novena Church, used to be Novena Ville, which housed the famous chicken rice stall Wee Nam Ki. It is being developed by Fragrance Group into Novena Regency, a 4-story freehold commercial and residential property.